Today we're talking about why INFJs give so much and get so little back. Let's be honest, this isn't something that only happens to a couple of INFJs. Most of us have experienced this. I would even go so far and say there has not been one INFJ who hasn't done this in their life, who hasn't experienced that. But on the flip side, we don't know how to change it. What, are we supposed to give less? That just doesn't make any sense. We want to give, we want to be of service, but we also want to be appreciated for it. And then when the time comes around, the other person is not giving anything back. It's like we've been 50-50 all along. Everybody has put the same thing in. And even if they were aware, the other person, that we've been given more, that's all they're willing to give. And it's a crushing feeling. And today we're going to analyze why this is happening. Is it our fault maybe? Do we need to change who we are? Do we just need to stop giving so much? Is that just giving up on humanity? We're going to look into this today so you find the perfect balance in what you want to give, that you feel fulfilled, that you feel like you don't have to hold back, and you're still getting appreciated for what you put out there. Before we get started, I want to remind you, if you want to take the next step in creating your INFJ epic life and you want my personal help with this, then work with me one-on-one. All the information you find in the link in the description. First off, a little disclaimer here. It's not that INFJs give more than other types. It's just that we experience everything from our perspective. Other types do that as well. And from our perspective, there's one thing we give so much of, and that is attention. That is being aware what the other person needs. We give psychological comfort. We're there for the other person. We're their motivator. We're their consultant. We're there to help them in their life decisions. We're probably not going to be the ones who say, okay, we have cooked every meal for you. We've made sure that you have a house that you love. We're not the homemaker kind. Yes, this is a generalization. Of course, there are probably INFJs who are really great at this, but we mainly help through our advice, through us focusing on the other person, through us helping them be the person that they want to be. And for us, this is the most important thing. But remember, for other types, that is not the case. For them, it's way more important to make somebody feel like they're at home, to make it cozy for them, or any other way. It might be that other types want to entertain others more, right? So it's completely individualistic. But from our perspective, the thing that we do that we find most important, probably other types are not able to bring so much to the table. This is, of course, just a generalization. But back to the topic at hand. So if you know this, what is actually going on? If you give to another person, and then there are two reasons for it. On the one hand, it's something that our soul is urging us to do, and we're even willing to do this at our own expense. So this is why so many INFJs have a vocation that falls into the place of psychologist, helping others out, life coach, being like a guard, a mentor, a consultant, right? That is what our soul wants. That's one of our gifts. It's something that we're really good at. We see what's going on in the other person, and it would be just reckless of us to let them go their way, do what they want to do, knowing very well that we could help them stay off that cliff. That is the one reason. But the other reason is also because we want to be appreciated for what we do. We want to hear, okay, you did good. You are somebody who's of value. Your gifts matter to me. And very often this aspect is looked at as something that we shouldn't even want. We should be totally okay with just selfless giving and be totally fine with not getting the appreciation back. But in the end, INFJ or not, you're human. And as a human, you need appreciation. You need to be looked at as somebody who's of value, who's bringing something to the table, who adds to the happiness of people. It's really a human need. And as long as we go through life thinking that that is something to be embarrassed about, or it's something that we should hide, we shouldn't want this, we're not going to put this on the forefront, it's always going to hold us back. But if you look at it as a completely normal human need, as in a need to breathe, a need to eat, and also a need to be, treated well. For the most of us, hopefully, we expect people not to abuse us. It's much easier if you look at it from like physical abuse, because then you can like really set boundaries and say, okay, now it's not happening. But when it comes to emotional abuse, it's much more difficult because you don't know, is that really emotional abuse? Is it just that I've been giving too much or not taking enough? Like, what's really going on? But the point is that we look at something like physical abuse and say, of course, I'm not allowing this. Of course, it's a human need that I am allowed not to be physically abused. This is a fact. On the other hand, we don't believe that we deserve that appreciation. We think we have have to go beyond anything that makes sense in order to qualify to be appreciated. And don't tell me that this is not the case, because I know this to be true. I've talked to way too many INFJs throughout my lifetime to know that this isn't something that only I've experienced and a couple of other people that I've talked to. It's a general theme. So when we know this, what does this tell us about ourselves? Well, it first off tells us we have to find an outlet for what we want to do, which is to help people. We have to find a way to help people and have it in such a way that they appreciate it. If this is not happening, then we need to cut back. It's just a given. Because you'll see, like INFJs do this very often when they have one friend or one situation where they're doing this and they're putting all their strength, all their effort, all their attention on that person. And when that person cannot deliver, and they most probably can, because we cannot expect all our needs to be met by this one person. That person has to be so appreciative as if we have saved their life. That's not going on, then we're going to be upset. And there's going to be passive-aggressive reactions and all that you can imagine. This dynamic is completely normal. It's not something that only happens to you, but we can change that. The first thing to remember is to understand it is what our soul wants. It's what we need. It's who we are. We need to find a healthy outlet for that. And you can find that healthy outlet if you're helping people who are not like your friends. So you create some kind of boundary. You can add to social causes. You can start a YouTube channel. You can start a podcast. You can write a book. You can help so many people that aren't connected to you in such an intimate setting, because it's impossible to help somebody so closely and not get involved. And I'm not just talking about emotionally getting involved, but also getting involved in their emotional state. The only way we can really help people is if we become the rock that other people can climb up on. If we go down into the trenches with them and we do all the work that they're supposed to do, we're just enabling them. And we wouldn't be doing this if we weren't so in need to get that appreciation. Huge revelation here, huge point. The fact that we are in need of appreciation is going to make us do things that go beyond what we should be doing. A great example, just to make it clear, is, again, you're in a physically abusive relationship and then you find reasons why this is happening. They had such a bad day, things were going really, really badly. I sneezed when that person was really upset. You can always find a reason why it's happening. But what you actually should be doing at that moment is to say, it doesn't matter what the person is experiencing in that moment. I first have to make sure that I'm okay. I don't have to find a reason why the other person is abusive. We stop at the point, you want to abuse me physically, I'm out. Same thing goes to emotional abuse. Again, it's just easier to make it understandable when we're talking about this. But for us INFJs, it's most that emotional thing. And we are also the ones who put ourselves in that situation. This is not about victim blaming or anything like that. It's just when you are at the point when you say, I'm going to change that. I want to be able to give, and I want to be able to do that without having to go and cross boundaries that are unhealthy for me. If you have that healthy outlet in your life, and that's why I encourage every single INFJ to go and look into their vocation, and you get appreciated for it. You make sure that you do. You put yourself in a position where this is one of the ways people are giving back. I can guarantee you, when it comes to your private life, when it comes to your friendship, your colleagues, you're not going to go overboard. Because so much of this natural need to be appreciated for your individualistic gifts is already being taken care of. You're not needy anymore for it, so you're not going to do things that aren't healthy for you. And once you have this, you'll see how you automatically stop being so focused on the people around you. You stop being aware of everything they're experiencing, because you're creating this lifestyle for you where you give to yourself first so you can give to others. You are inspiring others to help themselves up, because in the end, that's the best thing that works. That's what works long term. You being of help, you giving more than is necessary, is mostly enabling the other person. And at the same time, we get upset, we get hurt when we don't get the appreciation we so desperately need. It's not on the other person to give it to you. You decided to give more than what that person can give you at that moment. They can barely take care of themselves. How are they supposed to take care of you at that moment? It's not possible. If you take this too far, you know what happens? At some point, you reach a reality break because you cannot handle the fact that you give so much and the appreciation is not there at all. And then you really go overboard. You actually do something that creates a completely new reality for you. That's what we call reality break. If you want to know more about this topic, watch the video on the INFJ reality break.